I'm Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 287. Welcome to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned. Well, hello, all my dear friends all over the world. How are you today? Well, let me tell you a little bit about me. I am healing from a broken elbow, and I have learned so much in the process. And one of the things that I talked about last week in my podcast was how important it was to develop patience in this journey of weight loss. And the reason it came up for me was because, I got a broken elbow and I would love to have my elbow back and start writing and doing all the things I need my right arm for as soon as possible. But being in a hurry is not going to help me heal my elbow, and it's not going to make my elbow heal faster. It's just going to make me feel more and more uncomfortable and make it worse. And so I talked all about that last week, about the idea of the scale and patience. And the more patient you are with yourself, probably the better you're going to treat yourself, probably the better you're going to talk to yourself. And when you're not in a hurry with the scale, then you can be more patient, and you can also become more curious when the scale doesn't do what you want it to do, because it's just a tool. Now, that being said, this week, the tool that I want to talk to you about is this idea of willpower versus desire versus allowing urges. So here's what I think happens with most people when they go on a diet and they feel restricted and deprived. They have these desires or urges for these foods that they think they love. Like for me, it was potato chips. I loved potato chips, and I had what I would call an over desire for potato chips, big urges for potato chips. And I've talked a lot about urges in my podcasts prior to this, and I teach a lot about urges with my clients in groups and individually. And as I've talked about in the past, and I'll keep talking about it, my doors are opening up to this new group program. And one of these tools that I teach on a regular basis is this idea of over desire. Now, over desire means you want something really bad. You over desire it. Now, when you over desire something, like let's say for me, it was potato chips. I had an over desire whenever I saw them, whenever I thought about them. I thought I had to have them. I didn't think I could have a few. I had a big desire. I had a big urge. Now, urges, really, another word for an urge could be desire. I've talked a lot about urges and the emotional hunger scale, that an urge is a negative emotion. And you can feel an urge from a 0 to a -10. And a -10 is the strongest urge, which means you're not walking to the kitchen. You're running to the kitchen. You're not eating a few potato chips. You're eating the whole bag and then some, right? Because the urge is so big. That's a negative when it's really strong. But they can be weaker urges too. And we call them, could be a -2, which means it's probably easier to maybe feel that desire, allow that desire or that urge to go through you without giving into it. Now, there's a big difference between having an urge or desire and feeling it and allowing it to go through you versus resisting it, pushing it away, And the way that you know the difference is one feels much more uncomfortable than the other. Now, granted, they both feel uncomfortable. But when you're resisting, anything you resist persists. So when you're resisting an urge, when you really want something and you have handcuffs on your hand and you really want it and you try to distract yourself, you try to tell yourself something, but you really, really want it, it never really goes away. That's more of what we call willpower. And the problem with resisting urges or willpower is that sooner or later, you're going to take those handcuffs off and you're going to go for whatever it is that strong desire is for. That's what I call overdesire. In my group and with my clients, we really talk about this because I think if you want to have permanent menopausal weight loss, what you want more than anything is to have less desire, to want things less. Like for me, the miracle of all miracles is potato chips are just potato chips to me now because I don't have that over desire for them anymore. Because I have trained my mind through working with urges, through working with the urge worksheet, which we use individually and in my group intensively, to help you lessen your desire by feeling or allowing those urges to go through. Another way to explain the difference between resisting an urge and allowing an urge is if you think of a beach ball, and if you're in the water and you're holding a beach ball down and you're not going to let it come up, you're going to feel the pressure of what it feels like to keep holding it down because it's going to want to come up and you're going to keep pushing it. Allowing an urge is to just let the beach ball come up and float, just to see it, feel it, but you just let it come up. That is allowing an urge as opposed to holding the beach ball down, which is willpower or resisting an urge. Now, I go into great detail about this, and I do think that out of all the tools that I teach, this probably is one of the most important. And in one of the videos that I did with one of my group clients who finished this program with me, she said that one of her favorite tools was the urge worksheet. Now, I use that all the time with my clients, no matter if you're working with me individually or in a group. And I'll tell you this, that when you can allow an urge to come through, especially a strong urge, those -7s and those -8s, when you can let the beach ball come up and float, when you can allow yourself to feel how urgent that feels without giving into it, you are strengthening your brain in a new way to what it feels like to want something and not give into it. And what happens with that is it actually lessens the desire to want it. So you can go from over desire, which is what I help you do, is change over desire into just allowing an urge. And once we allow an urge and we can feel it, and you're strong enough, you go, oh, that's just an urge. That's not me thinking I need something. It's me just thinking that I need something or I want something sweet. It's just a thought. It's just an urge. And if I feel it, then next time it comes up, it will be a little bit less and I'm on to myself. That's what I want to teach you. And that is how you end up to the thought is I can eat whatever I want. And also the thought that I just don't want it. And seriously, not want it. Not wanting it really bad and saying I can't have it, but seriously saying to yourself, I just don't want it. That is the work that we can do together. That's how you end up with permanent menopausal weight loss, is when you change your brain around urges and you learn how to allow an urge instead of resist an urge or use willpower. It's a big concept and I cover it a lot. So what I'm saying to you is this group is opening soon. If you want to be the first to hear all about this group and what it's going to entail and how you can change your over desire to just not wanting it anymore, then you need to go and sign up and get on my wait list, drdebbutler.com/group, and you'll be the first. And also, surprise, surprise, the lowest price. Okay, I want you to think about that this week. I just don't want it. Over desire versus I just don't want it anymore. That's where all the freedom is, sweetheart. I promise you that. And you know what else I want to say to you before I end today? Of course. And I'll be teaching it a lot in this group. It's self-compassion. Wherever you go, whatever you do today, please, please, please be very, very kind to yourself. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye. If you're loving my podcast and you would like some more information to be able to follow along with, then please go to drdebbutler.com/change, and you can get a free copy of my companion book that goes with this podcast that I refer to in many different episodes. That is drdebbutler.com/change, CHANGE.